Daron Payne is a go for Sunday. Jonathan Allen is a sack and a half away from history. And the ownership group is answering fans' wishes. All that and more on your 22 September Daily Commanders update. Let's go. Greetings and salutations. Welcome to your Daily Commanders update for the 22nd of September. I'm Nathan Perry. That's the Stoner. We're Ref the District on the Believe Network. And Stoner, we've got some good news coming out of Ashburn as Daron Payne is a go for the game. Injury report coming out here, and he's listed as full. A couple of questionables that we're going to get to here in a moment, but how impactful is Daron Payne going to be on Sunday?
I mean, he makes a huge difference, obviously. You saw him take over one complete series in the second half last week. He's been dominating. He's been dominating for the last couple of years, let's be honest. So anytime you have him available is obviously good. You just have to be careful with him. I think he and Jonathan Allen are out there for a lot of plays. They need a little bit more from their backups, I think. But, yeah, Daron Payne playing, huge deal, massive deal.
Absolutely. On here, listed as questionable, Cam Curl, Curtis Samuel. Now, with that being said here, I'm going to go to Ben Standig's tweet. We know Logan Thomas is out, right? We've expected him to be out pretty much all week because that hit that he took in Denver. Cam Curl, Curtis Samuel missing it with illness. They're listed as questionable on the report, but Stoner, Ron Rivera came out and said that under the old rules, they would have been listed as probable.
Yeah.
We're big Cam Curl guys here.
Yep.
You know how much he means to this defense. Is this something we should possibly worry about, or is the probable that Ron Rivera gave us give you a little warm fuzzy?
Well, no, not really. I mean, to answer this, the last half of it, does that give me a warm fuzzy? It does not, because they have flu-like symptoms. So two things you have to worry about. One, obviously, if they're not out there practicing because of flu-like systems, they could lose fluids, all those things that comes down to in 2 days from now that could weaken them just a little bit. So they probably won't be at 100%. Second thing is, if they've got flu-like symptoms, how that spreads. And we have no idea how this could possibly get to the rest of the team. Hopefully they caught it early enough to separate them from the rest of the guys at the facility. But you're probably going to see both of those guys at not 100%. And you need Cam Curl at 100% against Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, Gabe Davis, Dalton Knox, Dalton Kincaid, Dawson Knox, James Cook, all those dudes, man. You need a healthy Cam Curl. So hopefully hopefully he can get past it and be 100%.
On the spreading factor, it's probably a good thing this is a home game and they can stay isolated fairly well rather than having this be an away game where they're traveling and that in those confined spaces, they're going to potentially spread that to another teammate here. Of note, Stoner, on the Bills report, not a single injury designation. This will be a full team. Obviously, Von Miller on pup so he's going to be missing this game, so he's not going to be there. But everybody else, the one did not practice was White, and that was just kind of a veteran day off. Full team in Buffalo. Is that a scary endeavor here for this Washington team?
Yeah, I mean, obviously Buffalo is a scary team to deal with, especially offensively. So look, if Washington comes out on Sunday and beats their butts all over the field, they had got no excuses. It's not like some of these other teams. The Jets don't have Aaron Rodgers, or the Panthers don't have Bryce Young. Well, that's not really that big. Or, the Colts don't have Anthony, whatever. There's being no excuses once Washington whoops up on Buffalo on Sunday. It's full team, baby.
That sounds good. Well, mostly a full team for Washington. It's not full team versus full team. So maybe that makes it even more impressive. As we mentioned, Logan Thomas going to be out. Eyes are going to be on the tight end group. One of those tight ends was a guy that we really liked coming into this season. Unfortunately, he did suffer an Achilles injury. That's Armani Rogers. Again, out for the season on the season-ending IR. No longer in a boot from Nicky J here. No longer boot and progressing. Ron Rivera saying he's a gym rat and sits in on team meetings. Now, that part I love to hear.
Right.
Soak it in, because when you come back, you need to know all of this information. Good news coming out there from Armani Rogers. Like I said, we were big fans of his before the injury.
Yep, big Armani Rogers fan. Has a lot of potential, but yeah, and plus it curries favor from the offensive coaches and everything. Just see you when you don't have to be there, that you're there. You're showing commitment to this team. You're showing buy-in that hey, even though I have no chance of playing this entire year, I still want to be a part of the guys. I still want to be part of this system and learn it even better so that next year I'll be strong and I'll be ready to go. I think that's a pretty good deal for Armani Rogers.
Yeah. I fully agree. So hopefully we'll see big things from him, especially with Logan Thomas dealing with an injury, possibly, gonna find himself on the cut list. I know it's early. I know people are gonna kill me for it, but
Well, I mean,
somebody who people are killing in the chat groups and everything is Cameron Cheeseman, who's had some issues snapping. The team brings in 5 long snappers to kind of test them out, get the feeling. Cameron Cheeseman felt pretty confident, but he did talk with his coach there, and John Kime talked with Nate Kexor.
Katzer.
Yeah, we're gonna just say K-Town for this one here, and talked about Cheeseman. There's some trust there for Cameron Cheeseman coming from the coaching staff. Now, what else are they going to say, right? Like that's kind of, is this the dreaded vote of confidence, Stoner, that's coming there? Because he does say that the leash is getting shorter.
Yeah, it's definitely getting shorter, but if you bring in 5 guys and none of them are impressive enough to beat out Cheeseman, or at least not cut that rope all the way down, and so they're going to go with Cheeseman, that says a lot about Cheeseman, that he kind of met the challenge, stood up to some pressure, and performed. Now, he's putting it out there that he didn't really change his snap technique or whatever.
Well, he said that wasn't a big deal. It's like he's changed the grip and everything, but he's like, people are overplaying that as the issue.
All we know as fans, especially, all we know is we see the results. I don't care what the reason is or how or why or how you want to classify it, whatever. All we see is results, and we see balls getting dribbled back on extra points and kicks. Hasn't had any issues with the punts. But if you see that and you consistently see it now, twice, 3 times in 2 games, it's got to get fixed. And I don't care how you do it. And if it does mean another guy, sorry, and you bring in another guy to replace him. But good that they're giving him kind of the benefit of the doubt, saying, look, we're checking you. We're bringing some guys in, but you need to fix your stuff so that we can continue on.
Definitely has a good rapport with Tressway, so you'd like to see him stay on there. Tressway, obviously the GOAT at handling those missed snaps. So we'll see how that progresses. Speaking of Tressway, if you haven't, make sure you check out Hang Time on the Washington Commanders channel. He's talking with Sam Howell. Great interview, a lot of fun that's being had there on the Commanders channel. A lot of fun is being had by this fan group now that the former guy is gone and this new group is here. People are coming out of the woodworks and they want to celebrate with this team. And something that's fairly interesting, Stoner, is that the ownership group has been talking and engaging with fans. In this case, Mark Ein responding to a fan who said, hey, bring back the official rallies for fans out of out of pocket, right? So how great is this to have Mark Ein kind of engage and saying, hey, you know what, that's a great idea, I'm going to bring it up and see if that's something we can't bring back.
Isn't that crazy? Isn't it crazy that the owner of a team, of one of our teams, is seeing things out there that fans are asking for, and the fans are saying, hey, we should do these road parties or these rallies on the road for games because you got fans all over the place. So hey, can you bring that back? And not only does he think that's a good idea, but he goes on to Twitter and he says, that's a good idea, I'm going to bring it up. So it's going to, I mean, he's got to save face, right? He can't like say, well, I talked to him about it and they all said, no, we can't do any road rallies or whatever. He's kind of beholden to it now. So I think that's a big deal. I think that's a huge deal that they're listening to fans saying, this is what we like. We think this is good. Okay. I hear you, and let's see what we can do about that. So I think you're probably going to see it. You might even see it as quick as next week against Philly. You might see something up the road in Philly.
Hey, that'd be pretty sweet. I mean, that is Harris's other territory that he plays in.
That's
So
true.
maybe that's something that he can make happen on short notice there.
Hey, what would
Something
happen? Sorry, Nathan. What would happen is if next week in Philadelphia, if Harris had Joel Embiid up in his box in his Commander's box, how awesome would that? I mean, Philly fans would just
they'd
they
blow up.
already lost
They
their mind.
hated that one reporter. I don't think we talked about it on
Yeah,
the
Howard
channel.
Eskin.
But yeah, he hated that. He was just like, "What is this? Joel Embiid shouldn't be there, and this is trashy." And
Ah,
Josh Harris is a poor owner. Oh man, they'd
yeah,
lost
that
their
was
dang
great.
on minds out there in Philly. So I
James
definitely
Harden.
want to see it now. I want to see the entire 76er staff
Oh,
up
yeah,
there
that'd
in
be great.
burgundy and gold. I mean, they could wear something neutral. It's not going to matter because Embiid was neutral when he
Mhm.
was here. So that's fun to bring up. We'll see if that happens there in a couple of weeks from now. Uh, Speaking of this week, though,
Mhm.
JP Finley has your 10 things you should know before the Commanders face off against the Bills here. Kind of rapid fire a little bit here, Stoner.
Mhm.
Step in when you want to talk about it. Washington, if they go 3-0, we talked about this earlier this week, would be the first time since 2005. That's Joe
Yeah.
Gibbs 2.0. Mark Brunell was the quarterback.
Yeah. I
Ooh,
still have a Brunel jersey, so
yeah.
you know.
Maybe that's what you should wear in honor of
Ooh.
on Sunday. That should be what you do. Montez Sweat is leading the defense with 3 sacks this just 2 games in here. But
Mhm.
Buffalo, and we mentioned this as well, Buffalo only has 3 sacks on the year through 2 games. Washington with 10. Who gets the better of the Sunday game?
Well, I think that's pretty easy. If we can slow down that line again, then their defensive line, and we wreak havoc with our defensive line, we should definitely increase that lead that we have on them.
Should we get there? After a week 1 loss, the Jets marred by 4 turnovers. Josh Allen did not throw a turnover in that win against Vegas, going
Yeah.
31 for 37, 274 yards, 3 touchdowns, no turnovers. Is that gonna happen here to Washington?
Well, he completed his first 13 passes in that game, I think. I mean, he was awesome. He was player of the week and all that. I mean, if he does that, then we're in a lot of trouble.
Now, one of the big things on the offense here is Stephon Diggs. We're all familiar with him, University of Maryland star. A lot of people would love to see him here in DC. He has 17 catches this year, so he accounts for quite a bit of that offense. If Washington can shut down Diggs, does it shut down the entirety of that Bills offense?
I mean, they have a lot of other weapons that we've talked about, but he's the guy. So you have to shut him down. If you do shut him down, obviously you have a much better chance to beat Buffalo.
So it's 28% of all Buffalo's receptions there from JP Finley. Commanders have trailed after halftime, came back to win both games this season.
Mhm.
Can we not have a heart attack game
And by
this
the
week?
way, fourth quarter, we've trailed
Yes.
in both of those games, not just halftime or in the third quarter. Fourth quarter, they've been behind. Nice to show the resiliency, but let's not do that. It's not good for us.
They are tied for 4th in the NFL with 31 second half points. And
Mhm.
Howell has a 125.5 second half passer rating.
That's impressive.
EB doing some good work there. That's best. That's 3rd best in the league there, by the way.
Hmm.
Commanders defense leads the NFL in creating negative plays.
That's
Washington has 120 defensive snaps this year. 21 have resulted in a negative play.
Yeah, that's huge. That's 17.5% of all defensive snaps are negative plays. And only Dallas, I mean, Dallas is close. They're at 15.3
15.3.
percent. So yeah, Washington leading the league in negative plays.
Yeah,
Impressive.
that's at least a play or two different there from first to second. So it's
Mhm.
while not sizable, it is not going to just sway by one single play. That's a couple of plays there.
Mhm.
Along with Philadelphia and Dallas, Washington is one of 3 NFC East teams with a 2-0 record. Do you find that surprising?
Um, no, I don't. I do find it surprising that the Giants are not one of those teams. They're struggling a little bit. Obviously, with another loss, they're 1-2. But no, not surprising. Everybody pretty much we had 3 teams in the playoffs last year. The NFC East did, so not surprising at all.
Number 8 on this list, defensive tackle Jonathan Allen, a sack and a half away from
Mhm.
breaking Dave Butt's franchise sack record for defensive tackle. Now, Stoner, I have to tell you,
Mhm.
stacks were not an official stat for the entire time that Butts was here. He played from 75 to 88.
Yeah.
Stacks didn't become a thing until later. So it's kind of like Ryan Kerrigan's situation where he is the
Mhm.
sack leader for the franchise,
Yeah.
but only because not all the sacks were counted for some of the more prolific players in Washington history.
Yeah, I think 82 is when sacks became an official stat. So Dave Butts went 7 or 8 years without getting any counted towards his
Mhm.
record. But still, Jonathan Allen has done that in what? This is his 6th year, maybe
Sixth
7th,
year. Yeah.
something like that. So what he's doing, make no mistake, that stat is saying that it's impressive what
Yeah,
he's doing.
he's a very impressive player, and I expect
Mhm.
that maybe not to happen this game, but to happen within the next couple of games here. We'll see how that turns out. Washington's comeback against Denver was led by Brian Robinson, gave us the best total yardage of his career with 18 carries, 87 yards, along with those
Yep.
2 catches for 42 yards that we broke down on our day after reckoning. He
Mhm.
scored 2 touchdowns and helped me beat your team in fantasy,
Yeah, whatever.
Stoner. Uh, how
It's
big
early.
is how big is Brian Robinson going to be this week against the Bills, especially in this weather that we're going to be expecting?
Yeah, I think that's the big thing is the weather. If it does become that way, he's a reliable back. He's a tough runner, and he doesn't put the ball on the turf. So yeah, he could be the key to this game, assuming that the weather does come in.
It is going to be a party. This is your 10th thing and your 10 things to know from JP Finley. It is a sold out game.
Yep.
175 team alumni are coming back and expected to be there. Pierre Garcon will be honored before the game. Can Washington take all of this good mojo
Yeah.
and beat the Buffalo Bills?
Man, I hope so. There's definitely a lot of good mojo going on with this team, with this whole organization, and if they are at home with everything that's going on against a Super Bowl contending team, against an MVP type quarterback, and they beat Buffalo to go 3-0, this town might burn down. I mean, it's gonna be on fire, and we'll
Well,
be on fire as
we'll have to wait for that until we win the Super Bowl because it's 17-0 until we find out otherwise. Buffalo, of course, known for those Buffalo wings. So the social media team had some fun with the players
well.
and
Mhm.
they asked chicken wings, flats or drums. Some debate there on some of the teams. My favorite being Montez Sweat and Chase Young here, who Montez Sweat with drums and Chase Young was like, really? It's flats. How
Mhm.
about you, Stoner? Are you a drummy guy or a flats guy?
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. And I did notice that they didn't even offer like boneless. Boneless was not even an
Those are
option,
chicken
right?
nuggets.
Yeah, right. They didn't even offer that. It doesn't matter. I like them all. As you can tell, I put away some wings in my day, so I'll take anything.
Yeah, I prefer flats, but I'm
Oh,
not
really?
turning down any wing. Yeah,
Yeah, right.
yeah, I'm not turning
They're
down any
awesome.
kind of wing. We'll see. Maybe that's what we'll have to have Sunday for the game. We will be streaming it live, doing your play-by-play and commentary. Be sure to check us out on our Ref the District YouTube channel. And we have a great game preview planned for you on Saturday. Be sure to check that out as well from the Believe in Bills Mookie. They're going to help us out and talk to us a little bit about what to expect from the Buffalo Bills. But until next time,
Let's get to 3-0, baby. Let's go.
be a fan.